As a part of Rocketbook's expansion of the reusable notebook lineup, the company has recently introduced erasable index cards that they call Cloud Cards. As you may expect, similar to Rocketbook's other reusable notebooks and clipboards, these cards can be backed up to the cloud destination of your choice using the Rocketbook app, then erased and reused, provided that you use Pilot's friction line of water-soluble pens, markers, and highlighters. The scanning process is pretty straightforward. You fill out the card using a friction pen, scan it using the Rocketbook app, following the on-screen instructions to align the card, select which of your pre-configured destinations you want to send your scan to, title the upload, and confirm. Then, with your card contents backed up, you can erase the page using a damp cloth. Inside the Cloud Cards package, you get one black friction color stick pen, which unfortunately is non-refillable, though you can purchase refillable friction pens separately. You also get a tiny cleaning cloth, the same one that comes with Rocketbook's mini flip notebooks, and finally, the Cloud Cards, which come in a small box that's similar to playing card packaging, just larger. This box is also a little thicker than it has to be in order to hold the 40 Cloud Cards that come in each pack, so I suspect Rocketbook intends for you to store your cards and the cloth together here when they're not in use. A nice touch because you'll want to keep your Cloud Cards packaged to avoid damaging them in transit, and it's always convenient to have a towel on hand for erasing. Having said that, I hope we see a PET Cloud Card capsule released shortly, because it would be nice to have a more formal carrying case, possibly with a dedicated cloth pouch and a pen holder to keep everything together. Taking a look at the Cloud Cards design, they're constructed of the same polyester composite pages as the company's notebooks, but it's worth noting that they're about 3 times thicker, which makes them a little more rigid. This is important because it provides the thickness needed to make writing on individual cards possible without feeling like you're scraping right through to the desk. Each card is 5 inches wide and 3 inches tall, with a dark border around the edges providing the contrast enhancement needed to expedite page recognition during the scanning process. You'll also notice a small QR code at the bottom of each page, which is an integral part of the Rocketbook scanning system. The front of each card contains a faint dotted box pattern that's similar to the one you may have seen in Rocketbook's core or flip notebooks, but scaled down a little so that each grouping is about 7mm tall and wide. This allows for 18 boxes widthwise and 10 boxes in height. On the back of each card, there's a faint dotted line pattern in the traditional index card colors, with the top title block underlined in red and the remainder of the lines being blue. These lines may show up in your scans depending on your lighting conditions and if you have the color enhancement setting to best for black ink or best for color ink. Here you get a 7.5mm title space, followed by 9 6.5mm lines for writing. One thing absent from the Cloud Cards is Rocketbook's standard 7-icon destination footer, which normally allows you to check off your destination prior to scanning. But since each card is so small, this has been removed to maximize the space available for writing, which I think is understandable. I'm looking forward to seeing all the creative ways that Rocketbook customers use these cards, but to me, the 2 most immediate uses are either as recipe cards, with the method on one side and ingredients on the other, or as standard flashcards for studying or preparing a presentation. And Rocketbook seems to have anticipated this flashcard use quite well, because they've introduced what they call study mode, to allow you to replicate the flipping experience digitally. This mode is enabled automatically whenever you opt to send your Cloud Card scans to a destination that has the bundle option turned on in the settings, so you'll want to make sure that's enabled. Then, during the scanning process, the app uses the QR code to automatically pair the front and back side of the cards in the digital file created during the scanning process, with each card appearing in the order that the front of the card was scanned, remembering here that the front is the dotted side. Unfortunately, this reordering of the cards doesn't apply to the file that gets sent to the cloud destination, so your combined PDF pages will be extracted in the exact same order that they were scanned, something I really hope Rocketbook fixes soon. But when looking at your scan history, you should see the Study Mode button available. This brings you into a card viewer that has the Cloud Cards in the proper order, and that includes a button to allow you to flip the cards over digitally, as if you were studying from physical flashcards. Since this is a really new feature, I'd expect to see this reordering issue corrected soon for the digital backups, but aside from that one issue, I think this is a really neat expansion of the Rocketbook app, and it works quite well, even recognizing the orientation of your cards to allow you to have one side of the card in portrait while the other is in landscape, provided that you scan them appropriately. Getting the scanning orientation correct is my biggest tip when it comes to using the Rocketbook Cloud Cards. Currently, the Rocketbook app's camera always thinks that you're scanning with the phone held in the portrait orientation. So to reduce the amount of page rotating you have to do during the backup process, the simplest thing you can do is to always hold your phone in portrait and just rotate the card that you're scanning to be in either portrait or landscape as needed. It's also worth mentioning that you should always take your notes such that the QR code is at the bottom of the card. Otherwise, the app won't recognize the page and you'll have to scan it upside down, then perform the rotation manually in the app. All in all, I think the Rocketbook Cloud Cards are really neat and very easy to recommend. Though I've given examples in the past of using mini flip notebooks to create recipe and flashcards, I think this new index card format is better for both of these use cases. Just for comparison though, the mini flip notebook is a little larger than the cloud cards, coming in at 3.5 inches wide and 5.5 inches tall, though you only get 24 double-sided pages in the mini flip, as opposed to 40 double-sided cloud cards per package. I suspect the main differentiation here will be whether you prefer the study mode offered from the cloud cards or the coil binding and notebook versatility of the mini flip. If you're interested in picking up the cloud cards, they come in either 40 packs where all the cards have this black border, or in 80 packs where you get 40 black bordered cards and 40 with a dark green border. I'll leave links to where you can pick up your own cloud cards in the description below. Unfortunately, I can't tell what the pricing is because they're currently out of stock, and when I bought mine, they were discounted for the holidays, so my receipt doesn't state the original price, but they were definitely under $20 per pack. And it's worth noting that you can save a little bit more using my discount code that will be linked below. Other than that, if you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.